A warning tonight from experts who watch the power grid.
They say extreme weather caused in part by El Nino could elevate the risk of blackouts. Just a few weeks ago, parts of Durham plunged into darkness more than 30 hours due to a substation problem. And while Duke Energy says it was caused by maintenance work, the length of the outage created serious concerns among customers.
And all new tonight, consumer investigator Steve Spracia is getting answers about how well prepared we are for those cold winter days and other weather extremes.
Winter, it puts a strain on our efforts to lead a normal life, and it also puts a strain on the grid.
You very well might see the system constrained, and there's certainly the increased risks of brownouts and blackouts. That's a given.
What he's talking about is this report from the North American Reliability Corporation, NERC, which warns that much of the country is at elevated risk for grid failure and extreme weather this winter. And our section of the country is included in that assessment.
How concerned are you about grid reliability?
Infrastructure should be improved dramatically, quickly.
We actually were in Texas when that whole system went down.
When the whole ERCOT thing happened.
Yep. So, I think I'd be pretty darn concerned about it, to be honest.
ERCOT is the system which operates Texas's electric grid. It failed miserably 2 winters ago, causing a ripple effect around the nation.
In December of 2022, what became known as Winter Storm Elliot stressed the grid all over the country, including here in the Southeast. Turns out 18% of the country's entire electrical grid failed during that winter storm, according to a federal report.
Among the problems reported at power plants across the country were frozen sensors and other similar equipment which stopped working. All of a sudden, there wasn't enough electricity to go around because all of the grid is interconnected.
One of the things that we experienced during Winter Storm Elliot was we had purchased power to import into our state, and it wasn't delivered as expected.
Many power plants depend on natural gas for fuel. During Winter Storm Elliot, they too had problems with the extreme cold, failing to deliver needed fuel to electric plants.
In its report, the NERC recommended utilities winterize their power plants and components to avoid conditions which would cause them to fail.
We've improved our cold weather protections at our plants, mostly around instrumentation. We saw some instrumentation that created challenges for us last year.
But grid problems go beyond having to deal with temporary weather issues.
We're not building out enough capacity fast enough. And that's a concern for the entire country, not just specific regions of the country.
In an area like ours where growth is coming in leaps and bounds, that is a concern.
10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, especially if we don't do something immediately, things are going to get worse.
We're not adding enough capacity of permanent power, natural gas or nuclear, that meets that demand. And we're also not adding enough power that's more intermittent, like wind and solar.
I wanted to know, what is Duke Energy doing to meet the growing demand?
Some of that growth is very near term. We've got to be able to meet that now. And so some of the new plants, the natural gas plant in Person County that we've proposed, new nuclear in Stokes County, and other plants that we will continue to add to the system are designed to meet that growing energy need.
Wind and solar are in the mix, but they take up a lot of land, and it may not be feasible to rely on large numbers of those kinds of facilities for future power needs.
How large a wind farm would you need to replace, for example, one gas-fired generating plant?
We're talking hundreds of wind turbines. We're talking square miles and miles and miles of major industrial solar panel farms.
A better way to help manage and conserve our electric energy use may be to rely on technology.
As we add more renewables and battery storage and electric vehicles across our system, we're going to need a system that's smarter and that can handle the dynamic power flows that come with that.
And the use of artificial intelligence on the grid will become more prevalent. One use of AI now is so-called self-healing circuitry
that automatically detects the outage and reroutes power to other lines to help restore service faster.
The International Energy Agency predicts the country's electricity use will grow 20% faster in the coming decade than it did in the previous 10 years. However, upgrading the grid is not a problem which will be solved tomorrow. It is a complicated process involving regulations, public support, and construction of infrastructure needed to support it. Working for you, I'm consumer investigator Steve Spracia.